My name is Tiana Brooks, and I'm 36 years old. Just 3 months ago, I stood outside my younger sister's $150,000 wedding, while 400 guests partied inside, because she decided I didn't measure up to her version of success. That evening, I left a plain white envelope at the check-in table, an envelope that would end up costing her a luxury condo worth $3.1 million and force our whole family to rethink what making it really means. Before I get into what happened that night and everything that came after, I'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed, but only if you resonate with stories about setting boundaries with toxic family members who underestimate you. Also, drop where you're watching from and the time in the comments. I love knowing who's connecting with my story. Let me take you back to that night, the one that changed everything between me and my little sister, Alana. The Langston Grand Hotel in downtown Atlanta looked like it had been pulled straight out of a movie scene. Light from crystal chandeliers danced across the polished floors. A string quartet warmed up inside the ballroom, and from the filtered images I'd seen on Instagram, Alana had gone all out. She'd been planning this wedding for nearly 2 years. I glanced down at my outfit, a classic black wrap dress I'd picked up at a boutique in Buckhead. It cost me $180, a little splurge but tasteful. But as I stood near the marble check-in table watching people float past in gowns from top designers and tailored suits that screamed money, I suddenly felt invisible. These weren't just wedding guests. They were Alana's new tribe. Venture capitalists. Startup CEOs. The kind of crowd where your job title matters more than your character. Name, please. The woman at the check-in desk had a sleek headset and a polished southern smile, tablet in hand. Tiana Brooks, I said. I'm the bride's sister. She began tapping and swiping through the digital guest list. Once. Twice. Then again. Her friendly expression wavered just a bit. Could you spell that for me? Tinabrooks, I said slowly. My stomach tightened. I watched her search a third time. I'm really sorry, Miss Brooks. I'm not seeing you listed anywhere. Maybe you're down as someone's guest. No, I said calmly, already scrolling through my phone. I RSVP'd personally back in March. Here, see? Confirm for one. The woman bit her lip. One moment, I'll check with the wedding coordinator. But I already knew. Alana was the kind of person who color-coded her calendars and scheduled her life 3 months in advance. She didn't forget things. If I wasn't on the list, it wasn't a mistake. I stepped aside and called her. She picked up on the third ring. Tiana, she said, her voice bright with excitement. I'm about to head to the aisle. What's going on? I'm at the check-in desk. They don't have me on the guest list. There was a long pause. Not a confused pause, a calculated one. Then came the switch. Her tone dropped. Oh, that. You didn't really think you'd be attending, did you? My breath caught. I'm your sister. You sent me an invitation. She sighed. That was before Devon's investors confirmed. Do you know who's here tonight? Founders, executives, multi-million-dollar partners. People who expect a certain standard. I can't risk having my older sister, who, let's be honest, is still trying to make it in real estate, hanging around the CEO table talking about open houses. It's not the vibe. I kept my voice steady. I've been in real estate for nearly a decade. She chuckled. Selling townhomes and fixer-uppers isn't exactly a career, Tiana. Look, this isn't personal. It's about perception. Devon's team is preparing for a massive funding round next quarter, and we need everything tonight to reflect who we are, a power couple. You, unfortunately, don't fit that image. I stood there silent, counting my breaths. A couple glided past in matching couture outfits, perfume trailing behind them. Somewhere inside, music swelled and the last guests were being seated for the ceremony. I said softly, I understand. Good, she replied. I knew you'd get it. Maybe we can grab brunch next month once things settle down. I hung up. My hands moved calmly, almost without thought, as I reached into my small clutch and pulled out the envelope. Not the one with the $300 I'd scraped together for her wedding gift, no. That money had been reallocated weeks ago. Inside this envelope was something much more valuable, something that would have changed the course of her life if she'd given me 5 minutes at that microphone. I returned to the reception desk, where the coordinator had arrived, flustered. I didn't bother explaining. Please make sure the bride gets this, I said, handing over the envelope. It's her wedding gift. And then I walked out of the Langston Grand Hotel into the warm Georgia night. What my sister, and the rest of my family, didn't know was that while she was chasing appearances and building up her highlight reel, I had been building something real. Something quiet. Something that was about to turn the story of the struggling older sister into a legend. The Langston faded into the distance as I stepped into the night, heels clicking softly against the pavement. The city buzzed with the usual energy, cars honking, music from rooftop bars drifting in the air, but inside, my sister was marrying into a life she believed I could never touch. And in her eyes, she was probably right. To Alana, I was still the struggling big sister with no husband, no kids, and a real estate hustle she never took seriously. She'd been erasing me from her milestones long before tonight. This wedding was just the grand finale. When Alana got engaged last summer, I didn't hear it from her. I saw it on Instagram. A carefully posed photo, her manicured hand outstretched, sparkling with a 3-carat cushion-cut diamond. The caption read, "He asked. I said yes. #future Mrs. Ellis." By the time I picked up the phone to call her, she'd already shared the news with 70 other people. "Oh, Tiana! It's been crazy. I meant to call, I swear. You know how these things go." Except no, I didn't know how these things went. I'd never been engaged, and she made sure I never forgot it. I found out about the bridal group chat by accident, when my mom accidentally forwarded me a screenshot meant for someone else. There it was, a message thread titled, "Alana's Wedding Queen's Crown." My mom, Alana, our cousins, her bridesmaids, our aunts, all of them. Everyone but me. When I asked my mom why I wasn't included, she stammered, "Oh, honey, we just didn't want to make you feel left out, you know, since this kind of thing isn't really your lane." My lane. Apparently, you need a ring to understand napkin colors or flower choices. Then came the bridesmaids. Alana picked 4 of her college roommates, 2 of Devin's sisters, and even our cousin Kim, who she hadn't spoken to in over a year. But not me. When our Aunt Valerie asked her why I wasn't in the bridal party, Alana laughed. Tiana's not really the bridesmaid type. She's more of a background person. As if I didn't belong in the photos. As if I'd ruined the look of her dream day. I didn't even know how deep the erasure ran until a month before the wedding when she posted a long, emotional tribute online. "To the incredible women who've helped me get here, thank you. I wouldn't be walking down the aisle without your support." She named her mentor, her stylist, even her esthetician. My name wasn't mentioned. That was when I realized I wasn't just being left out, I was being deleted. Not just from the wedding, but from her entire life. And I had let it happen. For years. I had swallowed her condescending remarks at family dinners, bit my tongue when she called my career a cute side hustle, and nodded politely every time she mentioned how behind I was in life. At every holiday gathering, it was the same script. Alana, glowing in her designer dress, talking about her latest promotion. My mom beaming. My dad nodding with approval. Everyone listening. Then, the eyes would turn to me. "How's your house showings going, Tiana?" My mom would ask, like she was asking a child how many Girl Scout cookies they'd sold. I'd smile and say, "It's going well," even though I was quietly managing listings that sold for 6 and 7 figures. Even though I had clients who trusted me with their entire investment portfolios. Even though I was working on a deal that would reshape my future. But in my family's eyes, I wasn't building a business. I was just playing pretend. Last Christmas was the worst. Alana had just announced her engagement. The entire dinner revolved around her and Devin, their joint finances, their 5-year wealth strategy, and their dream of owning a luxury condo in Buckhead by 2026. "You should think about your future, Tiana," Alana said, carving into her honey-baked ham. "Freelance real estate isn't exactly retirement-friendly." Mom chimed in, like clockwork. "She's right, sweetheart. Maybe you could get a job with her company. I'm sure Alana can put in a word." I took a sip of wine, swallowing the heat building in my chest. "I'm doing just fine," I said. Alana rolled her eyes. "Fine isn't thriving, sis. When Devin's startup goes public, we'll be set for life. What's your exit plan?" "Sell duplexes, till you're 60. They all laughed. What they didn't know was that I was in talks with a private equity firm to manage a portfolio worth over $400 million. But I'd learned by then, telling them was pointless. They weren't listening. So I stayed quiet. But I watched. And I worked. While Alana was designing vision boards and trying to impress investors, I was creating something real. Something tangible. And as I stood outside her wedding, clutching that envelope, I realized I wasn't just excluded, I was being protected. Protected from a world that never saw me to begin with. And what they didn't see was that I was about to redefine success, not just for me, but for our entire family. Back at the reception desk, I pulled the white envelope from my clutch one final time. It looked ordinary, the kind you get with a bouquet of flowers. But inside it held a truth that would shatter the version of reality Alana had curated so carefully. I borrowed a pen from the receptionist and wrote in steady, deliberate handwriting. For Alana Brooks, wedding gift. Please make sure she opens this during the reception. The woman nodded, clearly puzzled. I didn't blame her. What kind of sister gets turned away at the door and still leaves a gift? The kind who came to shift the narrative. I stepped out into the Atlanta evening, a warm breeze brushing past me as the sounds of celebration faded behind the doors of the Langston Grand. Alana was probably halfway through her vows. Devin, suited in a $4,000 tux, waiting at the altar. Their crowd of tech elite, sipping champagne that cost more than my mortgage, probably still whispering about who was or wasn't on the guest list. They didn't know what was coming. I walked 3 blocks to my favorite Italian spot, ordered pasta arrabbiata and a glass of red wine. My phone buzzed. Once. Twice. Then nothing. The ceremony must have started. I pictured it. Alana gliding down the aisle in her pearl-detailed gown, Devin smiling at her like she was the key to his IPO. Investors clapping politely, bridesmaids glimmering in gold silk, and tucked away on a reception table, that little envelope. Inside, not cash, not a card, but my business card, one she'd never seen, because she never asked. It had taken 6 months to land the position. 6 months of interviews, strategy calls, boardroom meetings, and flights to Chicago, where the main office of Northbridge Equity Holdings, one of the largest real estate investment firms in the Midwest, was based. The email had landed on a random Wednesday while I was giving a tour of a modest duplex in South Atlanta. From Joel@northbridgeequity.com. Subject: Senior Director Opportunity Confidential. I thought it was spam. Turned out it was real. Very real. They'd seen my name attached to the Brentwood redevelopment project, which had earned investors a 39% ROI in 18 months. They were intrigued by how I'd quietly built a strong reputation with luxury clients, without a big-name agency behind me. The process moved fast. Within weeks, I was flown out for interviews. They grilled me on international housing markets, portfolio diversification, and long-term asset planning. I held my own. Every time. By the time Alana was deep into wedding planning, I had already signed the offer. Senior Director of Strategic Acquisitions. $450 million portfolio oversight. Mid-6-figure salary with bonuses. Corner office with views of Lake Michigan. But I didn't post it. I didn't tell anyone in the family. Not because I was hiding, but because I was done trying to convince people who were committed to misunderstanding me. And there was one more thing. Right after I got the job offer, a rare opportunity hit the market, a 3-bedroom luxury condo in Piedmont Heights with panoramic views of the city skyline. It was the same condo Alana had obsessed over for years. I remember the day we toured it together, back when I was still trying to bond with her. She'd snapped dozens of photos, posted them with captions like future goals and manifesting the space dizzy. But she didn't have the funds. The owner needed a fast sale. I had the access. And the money. I bought it. Cash. My original plan had been simple. During her reception, I'd stand up during the toast and surprise her in front of everyone. I even wrote the speech. To my baby sister, Alana, I know we haven't always seen eye to eye, but I've always admired your determination. I know how much you love the condo at 47 Waverly Drive, so I bought it for you. It's yours. That was supposed to be my gift. But that speech would never be read, because I never got a seat at the table. I was halfway through my pasta when my phone started to vibrate, then buzz, then light up like a Christmas tree. Alana, 16 missed calls. Devin, 9 missed calls. Mom, 12 missed calls. Unknown number again. Again. Texts poured in. Tiana, what the hell is this? Is this real? Call me now. Please. I'm sorry. Where are you? Even my mom texted. Tiana, what did you do? Alana's sobbing. You ruined her wedding day. No, Mom. I didn't ruin anything. I just gave my sister a glimpse of the life she thought I was too small to build. And I walked away. I flipped my phone over and let the vibrations continue. The waiter returned with a curious look. Everything all right, ma'am? Perfect, I smiled. Just perfect. And I meant it. For the first time in years, I was the one holding the power, not through revenge, but through truth. A truth they couldn't ignore. A truth they never even thought to ask about. The woman they erased was already 10 steps ahead. By the time I powered my phone back on the next morning, I had 93 missed calls and a voicemail inbox that had maxed out. The first few messages were what you'd expect: confusion, panic, desperation. Alana's voice trembled with disbelief. Tiana, what is this? Northbridge. Senior Director? This isn't real, right? Call me. Devin's tone was more polished, but the strain crept in around the edges. We need to talk. Alana's extremely upset. There's been a disruption among the investors. You should really clear this up. Then came Mom. Tiana, Camille Brooks. What on earth have you done? Alana's wedding was ruined. Do you know how embarrassing this is for our family? Embarrassing? I left a business card. They left me off the guest list. Let's talk about embarrassing. What happened, according to my cousin Raya, who had stayed through the whole wedding, was simple. Alana opened the envelope during cocktail hour, surrounded by Devin's business partners and family friends. Expecting a check or some kind of cutesy sibling gesture, she pulled out my Northbridge equity business card. At first, she laughed. She thought it was a joke. Then someone, one of Devin's investors, looked over her shoulder and went silent. He pulled out his phone, typed my name into Google, and clicked the Forbes article that had just gone live that week. The Quiet Dealmaker. How Tiana Brooks built a $450 million real estate portfolio before age 37. From there, it unraveled fast. At least 4 of Devin's investors recognized my name. Why? Because I had personally helped them acquire residential assets for their own family trusts. 2 of them had even been trying to schedule meetings with me through my assistant for weeks. The whispers spread like wildfire. Wait, she's your sister? She's the one who closed the Brentwood deal. Is this the same woman who handled the River District restructure? By the time the DJ announced dinner, Alana had locked herself in the bridal suite. Devin was in damage control mode, and the crowd she tried so hard to impress was busy scrolling through articles, LinkedIn posts, and corporate bios with my face on them. The kicker, one of the investors Alana had bragged about landing, the whale, was already a client of mine. I'd been managing his real estate holdings in Miami for almost a year. He just hadn't connected the dots. Until now. That same night, I received a text from Raya. Girl, you broke the wedding. You broke it. People are still talking about it. One dude pulled up the article and just started laughing. Also, Alana opened the envelope in front of like 60 people. She was so cocky. Now she's ghost white. Devin looks like someone hit him with a bus. The next day, I got an email from the Women's Housing Foundation of Georgia, a nonprofit I'd quietly partnered with just weeks before the wedding. The $3.1 million condo I'd bought in cash, the one Alana once called her dream home, gone. Donated. In her name. They were preparing to make the announcement the following week. Former tech startup Dream Condo to become transitional housing for women escaping domestic violence. It was already in motion. The title transfer. The paperwork. The valuation. It wasn't about revenge. It was about purpose. And unlike my family, I didn't need anyone's applause. That Monday, my dad, who rarely got involved in drama, called. Tiana, we're having a family meeting. 7 p.m. at the house. You need to be there. I'm not coming, Dad. Your sister is devastated. Your mom is a wreck. You need to explain what's going on. Explain what? That I have a career. That I own property. That I didn't disappear. I just stopped seeking your approval. A long sigh. Just 1 hour. For the sake of the family. I ended the call politely. then ignored every follow-up text. They could have their meeting. I had a team meeting with my acquisition staff instead. Later that night, Raya gave me the full rundown via text. Family meeting equals hot mess express police car light. Alana showed up in sweats, looking like she hadn't slept. She brought the envelope. She read your card out loud. When she got to the words senior director, she literally choked. Uncle Lionel asked, "Wait, she's in real estate finance? Like actual real estate?" Mom tried to say you should have told them. Then Aunt Nessa popped off. "Why? So you could tear her down again." Robert tried to defend Alana, said it was a miscommunication. Aunt Yolanda said, "Nah, y'all ghosted her. That's what happened." They're all shook tea. And Mom still doesn't believe you really donated that condo. Oh, I did? And the shelter had the deed to prove it. I emailed Alana the official transfer documents the next morning. Subject line: Your wedding gift found a better home. Attached were the legal filings, the donation acknowledgement, and a thank you letter from the director of the Women's Housing Foundation. Within an hour, Alana called me 18 times. I didn't answer. Meanwhile, I sat in my Chicago office, 37 floors up, reviewing a new acquisition proposal and sipping espresso from a real mug, not a to-go cup. My assistant knocked on the door. "Ms. Brooks, we've had 5 call attempts today from someone named Alana." She also showed up at reception, but security handled it. "Add her to the no-call list," I said without hesitation. He nodded. No questions asked. That's what I love about Northbridge. Professionalism. Boundaries. Respect. Later, another text came from Raya. She told everyone you gave away her dream condo. Uncle Lionel said, "Well, you didn't buy it. Can't lose what you never owned." She ran out crying. I didn't feel satisfaction. I felt peace. Because for once, the story they told about me, the one where I was the failure, the one who hadn't made it, was dead. And in its place, silence. The kind of silence that follows revelation. 2 weeks after the wedding, Alana made one last attempt. She showed up at my office building. She must have found the address from LinkedIn, because at 9:12 a.m. on a Tuesday, my assistant James buzzed through the intercom. "Ms. Brooks, there's a woman downstairs named Alana. She says she's your sister. She doesn't have an appointment. Security won't let her up." I pressed a button that activated the lobby cam. There she was, Alana Brooks, still beautiful, still well-dressed, but now standing outside the very world she once thought I didn't belong in. I watched as she argued with the security guard, her voice rising, her hands gesturing like a person on the edge. She looked like someone used to being let in, and stunned by the reality of being shut out. My phone rang next. I let it go to voicemail. The message was shaky. "Tiana, I'm downstairs. I know I don't deserve a conversation, but I'm asking anyway. 5 minutes. That's all. Please." I opened my email instead and typed slowly with purpose. Subject: Regarding your visit. Alana, boundaries are not conditional. They are not based on apologies, titles, or shared DNA. You made a decision at your wedding to define success so narrowly that there was no room for your own sister. Now that you know the truth, you want to rewrite the story. But the chapter closed the moment you removed me from your life to impress strangers. I wish you and Devin well. I hope you find your dream home one day, one that you earn on your own terms. But I will not be part of your story anymore. This is not revenge. This is clarity. Please do not return to my office again. Tiana. I clicked send. Watched her read it through the camera. Her posture slumped. Her face crumbled. She stood there another 10 minutes. Then walked out into the Chicago morning. That was the last time Alana tried to reach me in person. But the ripple effects, they lasted far longer. 3 investors pulled out of Devin's next funding round. Apparently, they didn't appreciate that their real estate advisor, me, had been treated like an unwanted guest. One of them reportedly told Devin, "If your wife's judgment is that poor, maybe you're not the leader we thought you were." Ouch. Not long after, I heard from Raya that Devin's board had made a quiet decision. Spouses would no longer be allowed at company social events unless cleared in advance. Translation: Alana had officially been uninvited from the circle she tried so hard to belong to. Meanwhile, my career soared. 8 months after the wedding, I was promoted to Executive Vice President of Acquisitions. I was now overseeing a $1.2 billion real estate portfolio and managing a team of 14 analysts across 3 cities. The Financial Times featured me in a story called "The Woman Who Flipped the Narrative: Tiana Brooks' Rise from Agent to Industry Power Player." My mom sent me the clipping in the mail. A handwritten note attached. "So proud of you. Always knew you had it in you. Always knew." Funny how people rewrite history when the ink dries. Alana and Devin went quiet on social media. No more curated power couple photos. No updates. No honeymoon pics ever surfaced. Raya told me Alana took a wellness leave from her marketing job corporate speak for. Too embarrassed to show her face. I had moved on. I was now dating Malik, a brilliant architect I met during the Tribeca build project. Tall, kind funny, family-oriented. Didn't flinch when I said I worked 60-hour weeks. He told me my drive reminded him of his late mother. When I introduced him to my team at Northbridge, they adored him. For once, I wasn't chasing validation. I was just happy. Alana still sent the occasional message. Every month or so. I never replied, but I read them. The last one came on the 1-year anniversary of her wedding. It was a letter. An actual handwritten letter. No emojis. No curated captions. Just her words. "Tiana, it's been a year. A year since I made the worst decision of my life. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't expect a reply. I just need you to know that I finally understand. Success isn't a title. It isn't a number. It's not who you impress. It's who you are when no one's watching. You always had it. The strength, the grace, the brilliance. I was just too caught up in appearances to see it. I was jealous. And I was wrong. You didn't just become successful, Tiana. You always were. And I lost you. Not the apartment. Not the connections. I lost my sister. Alana." I folded the letter and tucked it in my desk drawer. Not because I'm ready to forgive her, but because it's proof. Proof that people can grow, even if it's too late. Today, I sit in my office, overlooking Lake Michigan. The sun is setting. My name is etched in gold on the glass wall behind me. Tiana Brooks, Executive Vice President, Northbridge Equity Holdings. James walks in with coffee. "Your 3 p.m. is here," he says.